The host is unmuted.
Hello. Hello. Good
Wanda,
morning.
Oh,
mute.
If we can make sure our video or audio is on.
Can y'all see us?
I can see y'all. I don't know why the video is not on.
that
Let me
better.
see if I can figure this out. We're there.
Hello.
There's Melinda. Can you see us? Our little faces aren't up in the box.
There you go.
I don't see us in the box. Can you see us, Melinda?
Who's us?
Hello?
Oh,
I'm here.
Also mute your microphone if you will. You'll be picked up by his.
Ed's not here today. He's at home. He's trying to get this to work from home. And then Sarah's here in the office.
Ed, you gotta mute. You're muted right now.
Okay, hold on. How about now?
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
And can you as well?
Yeah, I can see you and hear you now.
Okay, there's Sarah. You see us? Yeah. We're good.
Okay, we're gonna get started. Chambers County Probate Court come to order. If we get to somebody and they're not there, we'll try to work them into getting on the phone or getting on the call. All right, cause number 19 CPR 0104, the state of James Douglas Culps. Miss Lila, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I just don't have a camera and I can't go shopping yet.
Okay, I can, I recognize your voice. So nice to you. Who you gonna testify? You got somebody there to testify?
Yeah, James Fletcher's here. I'm here on the, I'm for the applicant.
Thank
Can you see me?
Mr. Fletcher. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. All
Okay,
right,
and
you have somebody testifying?
Yes, I do. I've got
All you
three
gotta
different
do
witnesses.
is turn it on
No, wait, I can't see you, Mr. Fletcher.
after.
I
you
see
know,
your
that
box. but-
Pull up, because if it's not on for a while, it'll turn on.
Yeah, it
Okay,
will.
We got you, Mr. Fletcher.
Okay.
so
Also on my iPhone, Ms. Anderson needs to unmute her, the iPhone there, where it says James Fletcher's iPhone.
Yes, I've unmuted.
Okay, good.
Okay, I can hear you. All right, you're gonna testify, ma'am?
Yes.
Raise your right hand, please.
What have I done?
I swear or affirm that the testimony you're giving today is true and correct. God.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay, you can put your hand down, ma'am, and you may proceed, Mr. Fletcher.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you state your name, please?
Lisa Marie Anderson.
And Ms. Anderson, how were you related to James Douglas Culps?
I'm his eldest daughter.
And did he die on September 25th, 2019 in Baytown, Harris County, Texas?
Yes.
He had his residence in Chambers County at the time. Is that correct?
Yes.
We have not filed a will in this case. Did you, were you able to locate a will at all of his?
No.
At one time, did you think there was one, but you've made a diligent search and not been able to find one?
Yes.
Okay, and have you been in contact with all of his children, and have they signed and filed documents with the court, first of all, waiving notice of this hearing and also consenting to this proceeding here today?
Yes.
Judge, we would ask for the court to take judicial notice of the fact that there are 4 people that have signed and we have filed waivers in this case, and that is Lisa Marie Anderson, Grace Ann Culps, Julie Christine Larson, and Joshua Glenn Culps.
Yes, sir. So done.
Okay, and are you asking to be named as the independent administrator of this estate and have each of the heirs that we're going to be proving up in just a second, have each of them signed these waivers?
Yes.
Okay, I pass the witness.
Counselor?
Ms. Anderson? Would you,
Yes.
to your knowledge, your dad only had four children?
Yes.
Okay, and those are listed in the waivers which have been on file in court and the court's taken judicial notice of?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, did your dad have any relationships or any children with any relationships with women that he was not married?
No.
And did you never heard your dad say anything about the Attorney General filing any proceedings against him for child support on a child that you didn't know about?
No.
And you feel like that your dad would have told you had that happened?
Yes.
Okay. And he was married to your mom, and there were 3 children in that relationship. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what was her name?
Marie Elizabeth Ferguson.
And then he divorced her, and then he married. Who was his second wife?
Shannon Spate.
Okay. And of that relationship, how many kids did he have?
There was one.
Okay. What's that child's name?
Joshua Glenn.
And he did a waiver. Is that correct?
He signed a waiver. Yes.
So to your knowledge, that's all the children that your dad had during his lifetime?
Yes.
Okay. I pass the witness.
Okay.
Yes, I have a couple of other follow-up questions here, Your Honor. You are asking to be named as independent administrator without bond, is that correct?
Yes.
And you are qualified, and we've discussed the qualifications to be named as independent administrator, and you're representing to this court that you are qualified and that no disqualifications exist to your serving as such.
Yes.
I pass the witness.
I don't have any more questions of her, Your Honor.
Thank you. Call your next witness, Counsel.
Yes, I'd call David Culps.
Okay, I'm
Morning,
here.
Mr. Schultz. You may proceed.
I believe he needs to be sworn, Your Honor.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Raise your right hand, please. Do you have any other witnesses?
Yes, I do. There is Olivia Dyer. She's also in that same room with them.
Okay, both of you raise your right hand. We'll swear you in at the same time.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
I do.
Yes.
Okay, you may proceed, sir.
Okay. Mr. Culps, please state your name.
Name is Wallace David Culps.
And Mr. Culps, how were you related and how did you know James Douglas Culps?
He's my brother.
Okay, so you've known him all your life.
My whole life, yes.
And did he die on September 25th, 2019?
Yes.
Were you able to assist in the search, or at least were you able to confirm that there's been no will located in this case?
Yes, that's true. I helped the kids search through his house to try to find a will, and we couldn't find it anywhere.
Okay. Is it true that he was married to Marie Ferguson and also Shannon Culps?
Yes, that's true.
And with those divorces, both of them ended in those cases, those ended in divorce. Is that right?
Yes.
And from the first marriage to Marie, he had Lisa Marie Anderson, Grace Ann Culps, and Julie Christine Larson. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
And all 3 of them are still alive at this date.
Yes.
And of his second marriage to Shannon, he had Joshua Glenn Culps, and he is also alive. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
To the best of your knowledge, did he have any other children?
No.
And he did own some property there in Chambers County. Is that correct?
Yes.
At the time of his death? I pass the witness.
Mr. Culps, your brother that had no children that were deceased at the time of his death?
No.
Okay. And in regard to relationships, do you have any knowledge of him having any children with any women that he was not married to?
No,
Do you feel like had that happened, he would have told you about it?
he would have told me, yeah.
Probably griped or did he never mention the Attorney General filing anything against child support?
Nope, I never heard anything about that.
And were you and your brother close?
Yeah,
You saw him frequently?
yeah. We talked,
So-
we talked a lot, from work.
Okay. So you had contact with him on a
Yeah,
regular
yeah.
basis? So to your knowledge, these 4 children that have executed waivers have been filed with the court are the only children that he had during his lifetime?
Yes, yes.
And I will pass the witness.
That's all that I have of this witness. I'd like to call Olivia Dyer.
Okay.
I'm
You
here.
may proceed, sir. Sorry, I was muted.
Yes, please state your name.
Olivia Dyer.
And Ms. Dyer, did you also know James Douglas Culps?
Yes, I'm a close friend of him for many years.
Okay, and you're aware of his family history, is that correct?
Correct.
You were present and did you hear the testimony of David Culps just previous to yours?
Yes.
And if I were to ask you the same questions that he was asked, would your answers be substantially the same regarding his marriages and children?
Exactly the same.
Okay, and you are convinced that there were only 4 children that he had, is that right?
Yes.
I pass the witness.
Ms. Dyer, do you know Mr. Culps, the decedent's children?
I do.
You know all 4 of them?
I know 3 of them. Julie is out of town in Florida, so I have not met her.
Okay, but you know enough of the family to know how many kids he had?
Yes.
Did the girl, which of the children do you know personally?
I know Lisa, Grace, and Josh.
And by talking to them, did they reference the other child that you haven't met?
You mean Julie? Yes.
Yeah, they did talk about her.
Yes.
And did you have any type of relationship with Mr. Culps?
We were a couple for many years.
So you lived with him?
No, we don't live together, but we were together.
Okay, you had a
Dating.
dating
Yes.
relationship. Okay, and you didn't have any kids with him, is that correct?
Correct.
And you heard me ask a question about if the Attorney General ever filed anything trying to collect child support for a child that's not one of these 4 kids that we've talked about. Do you think you would have known about that?
I would have known.
Okay. And when did you what period of time did you have a relationship with him?
Say it again.
What, the time period when you had a relationship with Mr. Culps?
Since 2011.
It's 2011, okay. Were you having a relationship with him when he died?
No, we put our relationship on pause because of a situation, but we were never far. We talked all the time.
Okay. And to your knowledge, after he and you split up, he didn't get with some woman and have a baby that you know of?
No.
And you've heard the testimony of his brother, and if I ask you the same questions I asked him, would you testify the same?
Correct.
I pass the witness.
Your Honor, that's all we have. We would ask that the Lisa Marie Anderson be named as independent administrator without bond, and that the court find that the proper heirs of Mr. Culps are Lisa Marie Anderson, Grace Ann Culps, Julie Christine Larson, and Joshua Glenn Culps. Those are all included in previously filed orders, which should be in the court's file.
Okay, so your request the court to approve the judgment declaring heirship and the independent administration. So,
Thank you, Your Honor.
oh, I did that. Sorry, we're trying to get
We
used
need
to
you a
these.
second screen up here, Judge.
Yeah, we do need a second screen. Okay, let's move on to number 45. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. State of Dorothy Mae Schaefer. Mr. Davidson, good morning. You're muted, Vaughn.
Yep,
Yeah.
now I'm not.
How
Good
you
morning,
doing?
Your Honor. I will be proving this up.
Raise your right hand, please.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
I do. May I proceed?
You may proceed.
Your Honor, Dorothy Mae Schaefer passed away on January 18th, 2020 in Baytown, Harris County, Texas, at the age of 85 years, and 4 years have clearly not elapsed since the date of her death. This court has jurisdiction and venue in that she had a fixed place of residence and was domiciled in Chambers County at the time of her death. The decedent did not apply for nor receive any Medicaid benefits on or after March 1st, 2005. The decedent left a valid will dated September 2nd, 2010, which has been tendered to the court. That document was prepared in my office, and that document has never been revoked to the best of my knowledge. There were no children born to or adopted by the decedent after the date the will was made. And there were no marriages of the decedent dissolved after the date the will was made. Neither the state governmental agency or charitable organization is named in the will as a devisee. There are no outstanding debts owed by this estate that are not otherwise secured by real property. Your Honor, this is not a taxable estate. Her surviving spouse is the only heir in this estate. Would request that the affidavit of fulfillment of terms be waived.
Yes. All right, anything else, Mr. Davidson?
I do not, Your Honor, just requesting that the will be admitted to probate as a muniment of title only.
So down.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. You too. All right, number 55. Janice K. Shipman. Welcome.
Right here, Your Honor. I have
I see.
Melvin Shipman next to me. Your Honor, I'm going to turn the laptop so that the camera is pointed at him rather than at me, and then I'll just make sure you can still.
Raise your right hand, sir.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're giving today in court is true and correct, so help you God?
I do.
You may
Your Honor, can you
put your hand down. You can put your hand down, sir, and you may proceed, Counselor.
Okay, Your Honor, can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sir, would you state your name for the record, please?
Melvin Irvin Shipman.
And what is your relationship to Janice K. Shipman, the decedent in this case?
She's my wife.
Did Janice Shipman die on April 25th, 2020 in Baytown, Harris County at the age of 70 years?
Right.
And at the time of her death, did she reside in Chambers County?
Right.
Okay, sir, I'm going to show you a copy of a document that's been filed in this case dated August 31st, 2010. And I'm going to ask if you recognize this document.
Yes.
Is this your wife's last will and testament?
Right.
And do you recognize her signature at the bottom of each page and at the end of the document?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like you to take judicial notice that you have the original of the purported will of August 31st, 2010 in the court's possession.
Yes, sir. I've got it right here in front of me, and you may proceed.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Shipman, did your wife have or adopt any children after signing this document?
No.
And did she ever amend or revoke this document?
No.
Your wife's will names you to serve as the independent executor, is that correct?
Yes.
And to the best of your knowledge, is there anything that would keep you from serving in that capacity?
No.
To the best of your knowledge, does your wife's will make any bequest to the state of Texas or any state agency or charity?
No.
Your Honor, we expect this will be a non-taxable estate. We ask that the appraisers be waived, the will be admitted to probate, and Mr. Shipman be appointed as independent executor without bond.
Well, thank you. All right, number 56, Alan Keith Goodman. Rick,
Okay, I'm here.
good morning.
All right. Good morning.
Testify.
Yes, I'll be testifying this morning.
All right, raise your right hand, please.
Do you swear the testimony you're giving in court today is true and correct, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
You may proceed.
Thank you. Okay, so Alan Keith Goodman died on January 1st, 2019 at the age of 61. 4 years have not elapsed since the date of his death before the filing of the application. The court has jurisdiction over Alan Keith Goodman's estate. A notice has been given and every required citation has been served and returned in the manner for the period of time required by law. At the time of the execution of the will, the decedent was at least 18 years of age, sound of mind, and executed the will with the formalities and under the circumstances required by law to make it a valid self-proved will. Decedent did not revoke the will. No contest or objection to the probate of the will was made. Jane Lou Goodman, his wife, is named in the will as the independent executor of the decedent's estate to serve without bond and is not disqualified from law from serving in that capacity and from receiving letters testamentary and is willing to serve according to the law. A necessity for administration of this estate exists, and no interested person has applied to the court for the appointment of an appraiser, and the court does not, hopefully the court does not consider an appraisement to be necessary. Decedent did not receive Medicaid benefits after March 1st, 2005, and we are asking the court to admit the will to probate and grant letters testamentary.
Okay, hereby admit the will to probate and authorize letters. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
All right, number 57, the state of Morris, Doris Myers DeYoung. Ms. Clapper.
You're here, Your Honor. Can you hear it?
Yeah, have you got two? Okay. Ms. Clapper. That may be you, Ed. You got, I see you twice.
Well, that's because now I should be off.
Okay. All right, yeah, then now the noise quit.
Okay.
No, it's still done. Awesome.
Hold on a second.
Let's try that, guys.
Are we okay now, Judge? No.
It's still echoing. I don't know. Usually if they're two computers too close to get together, it'll do that. At least.
Well, I've signed out of one. Hold on. Let me move my phone.
Oh yeah, we do have one on here that says owner's iPhone that is unmuted. Oh, that was, you can ignore that.
So we're good?
All right, let's try that again. Mr. Leak, I think I may have figured it out. If you want to come back to your computer and try to unmute it there.
Oh, you can leave them muted. The only one I need unmuted right now is Ms. Clapper.
Okay, gotcha. All right, Ms. Clapper, let's give that another try.
Good morning. All right, I think that's it. Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear us?
I can.
Okay.
Who you got testifying? Raise your right hand, please.
Mr. Wayne DeYoung.
There he is right there. Go ahead.
Do you swear or affirm that the you're given today is true and correct, so help you God?
Say yes. Okay.
Okay, you can put your hand down, sir.
Is your name Wayne DeYoung?
Yes, it is.
Mr. DeYoung, are you the son of Doris Myers DeYoung?
Yes, I am.
And was she a resident of Chambers County, Texas for many years prior to her death on April 28th of 2020 at the age of 91?
That's correct.
Now, she was married one time only during her lifetime, correct?
Correct.
That was to your dad, who died on May the 6th of 88, correct?
That's correct.
2 children were born to the marriage, yourself, Wayne DeYoung, and your brother, Kenneth James DeYoung. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did your mother ever remarry anyone after her death?
No, ma'am.
And did she adopt or have any other children before her death in 2020?
No, ma'am.
So just you and your brother.
That's correct.
Now, the will, there is a valid will. I have it in front of you. The judge has it in front of him. It's been filed in this case for probate, and you recognize your mother's signature, do you know?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that indeed the signature of your mother attached to the application to probate the will?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's signed in front of all 3 McCalls, the notary McCall, and 2 witnesses, Leroy and Gurley.
Correct.
Did she ever revoke this will? All right, so the will names you as the independent executor of the estate. There is no one else who would be a beneficiary except you and your brother.
That's correct.
And your brother has signed a waiver of service, and he's actually present, is he not?
That is correct.
And both of you agree that you would be the executor as the will directs.
Yes, ma'am.
There's no reason that would prohibit you from being authorized to be the executor,
No, ma'am.
and you are willing to do that.
Correct.
There's no government or other entity as a beneficiary in the estate, strictly you 2 sons.
That's right.
And you're asking the court to admit the will to probate. There's a need for it, and to grant letters testamentary today, correct?
Correct.
All right, and Ms. Clark is here for you to sign your oath in just a moment. And that's what you're telling the court you will do as soon as the order is signed by the judge.
Yes, ma'am. Everybody admit the will of probate?
That's it.
Authorize
Did you hear all
letters.
that, Judge?
Yes, I did. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. DeYoung. Okay, moving on to number 59, the state of James Rants. Mr. McCall, you need to unmute yourself.
I used to go over there when I was a kid.
Sorry, I had.
I played football for Hampshire, and one of my good friends, he was a real good football player. He dated me. Okay, so we rode motorcycles and hung around together a lot.
Yeah.
And we,
I think it was on.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, I'm good.
and it is right down the road from the swimming hole everybody used to go to. And so, you know, I've gone over there a few times. And I knew Julie, they were a year older. Julie was a year older than me. And Reed, I think, was a year or 2 behind.
All right, Mr. McCall, you ready? Travis, can you hear me?
I knew them, but, you know, weren't real close or anything. but
I don't know if he can hear me.
He's on mute.
No, we
always remember Bo had a real bad one.
unmuted him. Travis,
Did he have a
Okay.
left name?
let's skip over him. We'll learn more about his football career when we get to it. I wanted to ask him how bad Barbers Hill beat him. All right, let's go to number 60, the state of Shirley Bachelor. Mr. Warren, good morning.
Good morning, Judge. How are you?
Shirley Bachelor, Clue. Yeah, thank you.
Good.
I'm fine. How are you?
Good.
That's fine.
No, I've got one witness here, the applicant. And let me move her over here or move the screen over.
Yeah.
There she is.
Raise your right hand, please.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
Yes.
You put your hand down. You may proceed, sir.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. Your name is Rhonda Creeder, is that correct?
Yes.
And you're familiar with the decedent in this case, Shirley Bachelor Cluthy?
Yes.
And how are you related to her?
I'm her daughter.
The daughter, okay. And your mom did pass away May 23rd, 2020 in Winnie?
Yes, sir.
And at that time, she was 72 years of age, is that
Yes.
right? Okay, and she was actually resident, had her domicile there in Chambers County?
Correct.
Now, we previously filed with the court a document which purports to be her last will and testament, dated December 7th, 2018. And here's a copy of that document. As far as you know or believe, was this your mom's last will and testament?
Yes.
Did she ever cancel or revoke that document to the best of your knowledge?
No, sir.
All right. And there is a necessity for administration of this estate because we have bank accounts and property we need to take care of. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And there were no child or children born or adopted to your mom after the making of her will in 2018?
No, sir.
Okay. And there was a change in her marital history, though. Her husband actually died a few days before she did. Is that correct? Okay. And there's no state, charity, any other type of beneficiary named in this will, just a daughter. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And the will originally named Don Cluthy to serve as the executor, but as we said, he subsequently died. It next named your sister Tara Thibodeau as executor.
Correct.
And she has filed with the court a waiver not to serve because we were concerned about her qualifications. Is that right?
Correct. And
finally, you are the next named executor, and as far as you know or believe, based on the laws I've explained it to you, you are qualified to serve as executor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you're asking the court to name you as the independent executor without bond and admit this will to probate?
Correct.
And Your Honor, this is a non-taxable state and would ask for the waiver of any appraisers.
So done. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
And Your Honor, we will go ahead and have her sign the oath, and we will electronically file that here in just a few minutes.
Great, thank you.
All right, I believe that's all I have. Oh,
Okay, thank you.
it looks like I'm gone. All right, thank you, Judge.
All right, number 61, the state of Lena Mae King. Ms. Clapper. Did we lose Ms. Clapper? Oh, no, I see her.
She's got herself muted over there.
Late meeting. All right.
Oh, it is Bob.
There's Bobby Hall.
I'm here, Judge.
Morning. How are you?
Good. It says your internet connection is unstable, Judge.
No, it's yours, not mine.
Can you hear me, Judge?
Austin's taking care of mine. We can hear you.
It probably is. Yeah.
Bobby, if you raise your right hand, please.
Okay. Yes. Got it up, Judge. Can you see me?
I can.
Do you swear or affirm?
Wait a minute.
It's kind of in and out.
Go ahead.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony given today is true and correct, so help you God?
I do. Yes.
Yeah, you're coming in and out on us.
He said yes.
But
Let me get my phone.
You can put your hand down. Ms. Clapper leaving?
Judge, do you want me to join by phone?
No, she's here.
Do you want me to
I
join
can hear
by
you
phone?
now. Go ahead and give it a try.
Okay,
Go ahead and proceed and let's see what
all
happens.
right. All right. Is your name Robert L. Hall Jr.?
It is.
And are you familiar with Lena Mae King?
Yes, I am.
And you were named as an executor of her estate as chairman of the deacons of First Baptist Church.
Yes, ma'am.
All of the other beneficiaries and the named executors in the will are now deceased.
That's correct.
But the one that at the time of her death, she died on July 19th of 2009 in San Elizabeth Hospital of an illness, correct?
Yes, correct.
And at the time she was married to George Allen King
That's correct.
and had been married for many years to him, almost 35.
That's correct.
But for some reason, Mr. King did not probate the will within the 4 years of her death because he didn't think he needed to.
That's my understanding, yes.
And that was strictly by mistake.
That's correct.
And the reason that you're asking the court to admit this will to probate as muniment of title is because there is a necessity there's no necessity for debts. There's no debts owed, correct?
That's correct.
It's strictly for title,
That's correct.
transfer of property
That's correct. Yes,
into George Allen King, her husband,
that's correct.
because he was the heir in her will at the time of her death.
That's correct.
And there's no other reason that, that you want testamentary strictly for the will to be admitted as muniment of title to transfer to the named heir at the time of her death in 2009.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, she left a valid will, did she not?
Yes, you did.
And that will is before the court today.
Yes, ma'am.
And she was a resident of Chambers County, Texas for many years prior to her death.
Yes,
And she was married one time
yes,
and only one time, and that was to George Allen King.
that's correct.
They had one child,
Yes,
and that child now is deceased.
yes,
All right, looking at the will, are you familiar with Lena Mae's signature?
yes,
And she was a friend, longtime friend.
yes,
And you also see that it was witnessed by Mary Ann Evans and Kyle Dobbs
yes,
and notarized by Robert Clapper.
yes,
And is this, you found the actual original will in the county clerk's office of Chambers County.
I did, yes,
And that will is now before the court.
yes,
There, you're asking the court to admit it strictly as muniment of title
correct.
to be filed in the deed records of Chambers County, Texas.
That's correct.
All right. Judge, did you hear all that?
I heard all that, and
Hello?
I'm gonna approve it as a muniment of title for probate, and we'll go on to number 64 while you're there. The state of George Allen King.
Okay. Thank you. Now, your name is Robert L. Hall Jr.,
That's correct.
and you are also named as chairman of the Deacons of First Baptist to be the executor of George Allen King's will.
That's correct.
And Mr. King just died on,
June the 15th, 2020.
all right, at his home here in Anahuac.
Correct, yes,
And he had lived here, he was the age of 93.
yes,
And after his son Wayne died, we had a meeting with him.
that's right.
And he was asked if he wanted to change his will.
Yes, ma'am, you did.
And did he say in the presence of like 3 or 4 people? He did not. He had everything that he wanted arranged.
That's correct.
And that will was, is attached before the court, was executed in 2006,
Yes,
same day that Lena Mae's was.
that's right.
All right, now, Mr. King lived in Chambers County at the time of his death at 2002 South Main. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And had been there for, oh gosh,
Long time.
most of his life,
Yes,
actually.
right, yes,
All right, one child, he was married one time,
yes,
and that was to Lena Mae King.
yes,
They had one child.
yes,
His name is Wayne
Allen.
Allen King.
yes, that's correct.
And Wayne Allen predeceased George by dying on April 26th of 2020.
That is correct.
And that was the reason that there was the conference. Did he want to change his will?
That's correct, yes.
All right, so you also found this will in the county clerk's office
Yes, I did.
under a certificate number, and that will is before the court.
That's correct.
And you see that the will was witnessed by Mary Ann Evans, Kyrie Dobbs, and notarized by Rob Clapper with a self-proving affidavit.
That's correct.
Now, as the named executor, First Baptist Church, you're chairman of the deacons, correct?
I am chairman of the deacons, yes, correct.
So to your knowledge, he never revoked this will?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Had the opportunity to do so?
He did so, yeah, he had,
And he chose not to?
chose not to, yes.
Okay, so you are qualified to act as the executor and you're willing to do so?
I am willing to do so, yes.
And you're asking the court to admit the will to probate
Admitted to probate, yes, please.
and to sign the order and grant letters testamentary.
Yes,
Judge.
Everybody get the will to probate and authorize letters. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't ask him if he was of good moral character. Bob.
good. You want me to work for you? Keep
Yeah, I
going.
do. I'm sorry about it. I apologize. I need to talk to you too. If you'll give me a call.
All
After,
right,
I want to see about setting up an airport board meeting.
all right, okay.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Judge.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Clapper.
Maybe
Let's go back and try Mr. McCall. Travis, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right. We enjoyed your football story a while ago, by the way. We could hear you, but you couldn't hear us.
Oh.
Okay, so let's go to number 59, the state of James Rants. Raise your right hand, ma'am.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're giving today is true and correct? So help you God?
Yes, I do.
You put your hand down, you may proceed, Mr. McCall.
Your Honor, your name is Helen Lowrance, is
Yes,
that
it
correct?
is.
And you were married to James Lowrance.
Yes,
He passed away on February the 25th of this year.
yes,
And he had his fixed place of residence in Chambers County on the day he passed away.
yes,
He left a valid written will dated October 31st of 2016.
yes,
Correct? That will, the original of that will was destroyed in the flood,
yes,
correct? And we filed an exact replica or copy of that will with the court.
yes,
As far as you know, he never revoked that will.
no,
And he had 3 children from a prior marriage.
mhm,
They've all signed waivers consenting to the fact that they're allowing you or wanting you to go ahead and probate this copy of the will.
okay, yes,
That's right, isn't it? Okay. He never revoked that will so far as you know.
no,
Okay. And he never had any children born to or adopted to him after the date of the will.
No.
And never got married or divorced after the date of the will.
no,
The will named you as the independent executor of the will.
yes,
And as far as you know, you're not disqualified in any way from serving as the executor.
and I think I know,
Okay, and you're here today asking that the court approve your application and issue letters testamentary to you.
yes.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
All right, everybody makes the will to probate and authorize letters. Thank you, sir. Ms. Lawrence, take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, last but not least, number 62, the state of Maurice Joseph Ladiolis.
Yes, Judge, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
I can, you need to unmute Sarah too. Austin, left, you see where
Yeah,
Sarah is there?
They're on.
Okay.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Judge, I'm at home and Sarah's at my office. So Sarah, you can hear me okay too?
Yes, sir.
All right, raise your right hand, please.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're giving today is true and correct? So help you God?
Yes.
You can put your hand down. I really mean it on this one about moral character. I was picking on Bobby Hall.
Hey.
All right, Ed, you may proceed.
Sarah, and we're here to do probate both your parents' estates, Maurice Joseph Ladiolis and Wilma Nell Ladiolis.
Yes.
But we're doing Joseph Ladiolis first, Your Honor.
That's correct.
All right. Your name is Sarah Ann Cerrone, correct?
Correct.
Yes. And Maurice Joseph Ladiolis, he was your dad?
Yes.
Okay. You had one sibling, a sister named Cynthia Ann Jenkins, who is now deceased?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And she has 2 surviving children referenced in your dad's will. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, your dad passed away on October 1st, 2019 at the age of 93. Is that correct?
Yes.
So 4 years have not elapsed since his passing, correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, your dad, Joseph Ladiolis, Maurice Joseph Ladiolis, he was domiciled and he had a fixed place of residence in Anahuac, Chambers County, did he not?
Yes.
Okay. And so it's your testimony that this court has jurisdiction to venue over his estate. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And citation was served upon everyone required and returned in the manner and for the length of time required by the Texas Probate Code, correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, your dad signed his last will and testament on May 12, 2017. Is that correct?
Yes.
And in his last will and testament, he appointed you to serve as independent executrix to serve independently without a bond of security. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you were not disqualified from applying for issuance of accepting letters testamentary. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. To the best of your knowledge, your dad's will was never revoked. Is that correct?
Yes.
And no state or governmental agency of the state nor any charitable organization is named in his will. Is that true?
Yes.
So after the date of the will, no child was born or adopted by your dad. Is that correct?
Yes,
And so, and the marriage of Maurice, your dad, was never dissolved after the will was made. Is that correct?
yes.
Your Honor, that's all I've got.
Excuse me. Hereby make a probate authorized letters, and we'll go to number 63. Said it was Nell Ladiolis, and you may proceed. Counsel.
Again, all right. Sarah, your name, your full name is Sarah Ann Cerrone,
Yes,
and Wilma Nell Ladiolis, the deceased, was your mom.
yes,
You had one sibling, Cynthia Ann Jenkins, who is now deceased.
yes,
And she had 2 surviving children referenced in your mom's will as well.
yes,
Wilma Nell Ladiolis passed away on May 14th, 2020 at the age of 87. Is that correct?
yes,
So 4 years obviously have not passed since her passing. So now she was domiciled and had a fixed place of residence in Anahuac, Chambers County, Texas at the time of her passing, correct?
yes,
So it's your testimony that this court has jurisdiction to venue over her estate. Is that correct?
yes,
The citation was served upon all those required and returned to the manner and for the length of time required by the Texas Probate Code, correct?
yes,
Okay. Now, your mom signed her last will and testament on May 12th, 2017. Is that correct?
yes,
And the last will and testament, your mom appointed you, Sarah Ann Cerrone, to serve as independent executrix, to serve independently and without bond or security, correct?
yes,
And you are not disqualified from applying for issuance and accepting letters testamentary, correct?
yes,
To the best of your knowledge, your mom's will was never revoked. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay. And no state governmental agency of the state or charitable organization is named in her will. Is that correct?
yes,
So after the date of the will, no child was born or adopted to your mom.
no,
No marriage of your mom, Wilma Nell Ladiolis, was ever dissolved after the will was made, correct?
yes.
All right. Your Honor, that's all we have, and that's a letters testamentary issue.
Go down. Sarah, you doing okay?
I'm sorry?
I said, Sarah, you doing okay? You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Hey, Sarah.
You didn't ask how I was.
Yeah, I know how you are. I talked to you, but I haven't talked to Sarah in a while.
Well, I'm self-quarantined now, Judge, for the next 14 days, so I'm gonna be working out of my house.
Okay, that's a good place to be.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Take care, Sarah. See you
Thanks,
later.
Judge.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
All right, take care.